turned on the camera, but I'm guessing you probably couldn't tell. But when I pulled in to the train station, the gang was all there. The Sprinter, the Coaster, the Surfliner, and I assume the Metrolink. I didn't see it behind the Surfliner. We'll find out. I hope so, because that's the one we're catching. But those are the 4 trains that are served by the Oceanside Transit Center. And tomorrow and Sunday, today's Friday, only the Sprinter will be running. There will be no service going south and no service going north. They are doing routine maintenance on the tracks in both directions. That's the Coaster there. And the Metrolink up ahead, so huzzah. Yeah, they're also going to have 5 closed between I-8 and Mission Bay going north to do work, so good luck getting around this weekend. Part of why I figured I'd head back up to Orange County and do a ride. So in the shower this morning, I was thinking about my new existence now that I won't be having to actually run the board gaming convention. I'm not going to go back to Atlanta for it in February because bleh. But there's going to be one in the spring, end of April, beginning of May. There's only about 3 weeks a year that Atlanta is more beautiful than San Diego. 2 of them in the spring when the azaleas and dogwoods are blooming, and 1 of them in the fall when the leaves are turning. Because of the World Cup, you can't do the convention in June like we normally do, because the guy said he might be able to rent a space, but that the hotel rooms are going to be 2 or 3 times what they normally cost. So we're doing it in the spring. I'm more inclined to come out to Atlanta in April than I am in June, so anyway, thinking I need an East Coast bicycle. Something my wife can use when she's there, but also something for me to use when I come visit. I am thinking 20-inch wheels. I don't really care if it's a fat tire or not, although I think those smaller bikes often have a fat tire. But I want a folding bike so I can put it in the back of the car that we use while we're there and take it to the various places I would want to ride in the metro Atlanta area. There are several. They're not especially close to each other, and not very friendly roads in between them, but there's a nice bike path, and then there's the roads inside the park around Stone Mountain. That was a ride I used to do because it was only about 6 miles from my house. It was also the closest bike trail to my house, and there was not a single road that even had a bike lane, part of why I moved. But I can take the bike up there and do the ride. There's the Beltway through Midtown. It's nice, but it tends to be a little crowded, and for reasons I will never understand, it's all just a big wide sidewalk. They don't paint a stripe down it and say this is the bike part and this is the walking part, so it's sort of a mess. Reminds me a little bit of the Strand, although mostly I look at it where it crosses right near Piedmont Park, and I'm sure that's one of the more crowded areas, but it's 20-something miles, so I'm sure it's not crowded everywhere. Up in Alpharetta, there's some kind of bike trail with the word Greenway in it. There's two parts of it. They're going to join them together, but I don't think they have yet. And then they built a bike path over what used to be railroad tracks. So it runs all the way from Metro Atlanta into Alabama, I believe. And there's not a hill that's more than about a 3% grade, since it was a train track. I can't do all of them in the week or so that I'm going to be there, but I think over 2 visits I can get them all in. So we'll be hitting the road, but not until next April. For today, we're going to do up and down Hicks Canyon Road, Hicks Canyon Trail. Then head up to Peters Canyon, ride through that. Head over to the Santiago Creek Trail. Do that. It's a ride I do a lot, but usually in the other direction, so be a little bit different. And then catch the train in Orange. I have just over 2 hours. To do the ride, and Google Maps says it should take like 2 hours and 10 minutes, so since I make better time on the e-bike, that should not be an issue. And if it is, there's another train in an hour. But I figured I'd do another ride involving a train, as there will be no train service out of Oceanside this weekend except the Sprinter. Which, to be honest, I quit taking the Sprinter. I was doing a ride with my friend Bob, and he was not able to get on the train. Pretty sure I spend about the same or maybe even less on gas to get up to the Vista station where it starts, so I can just drive up, do that inland rail trail ride, and come back. I can't be certain I can get on the train. Less likely to actually take the train. Funny how that works.